FNL Vintage. Retro runway footage. Resurfaced interviews. And style archives. Revisit iconic collections. And celebrities. Of fashion seasons past.
Hey man, what's going on?
I'm chilling, man. I'm here for the kickoff of New York Fashion Week. I'm so excited. I'm launching a new jewelry line, and so it's really colorful, sexy. It's what my clothes been missing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited about that. Like the earrings, of course, are like crazy. This is a pink sapphire, and these are different color topaz. This is another pink sapphire.
So tell our viewers, what's a don't? What is, in your mind, to all those people out there watching this show right now, what not to wear? Your advice.
You know what? With fashion, I believe anything goes. I feel like, you know.
Hold on. So some guy's wearing some brown hat and some
it's all how you
overalls
wear it.
like in the country.
It's all how you wear it. Like, you know, like I feel like you could wear a garbage bag, but if you feel like, yo, I'm flying this, you know,
if it was
it's
a
all
garbage
about
bag, it
setting
would be
trends.
okay?
Hell yeah. It's all about setting trends, being yourself, you know, and just loving, you know, your look and loving yourself and just, you know, styling and having your own style and stuff like that. So that's what's really important, you know.
What inspires you to design the collection, your clothes, the way that you design it?
Definitely sexy women inspire me, you know what I'm saying? I think it's all about, you know, being sexy. It's just all about looking good and just, you know, having fun with fashion. Like, you know, fashion should be fun. It should be colorful. It should be, you know, like, especially my stuff. It's like, I want it to be like, look at me stuff. Like, I want, you know, a woman like her to walk into a club and everyone to like turn their head. You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is what industrial really is. So
The trends, you watch, you organize the shows, you do an amazing job. What do you see with the trends coming and going?
Well, this is an interesting season, I think. We're seeing spring 2006 here at Olympus Fashion Week, and we're seeing a lot of things, but we're seeing a lot of light colors, prints again, because it's springy and pretty, and florals, and lots of eyelet, lots of romantic dressing and details, a lot of Empire light waists and belts again, and
I was told a little bird sat on my shoulder and they said, hey, Vern's in the show. Is that true? Were you a model in one of the shows?
I was a model in Yoli's show today.
We're going to have to get some footage of that.
It was fun.
What are the biggest fashion faux pas? I mean, you look at all these designers' clothes, and then when you walk out on the streets of New York and other cities that you visit, what's the biggest fashion faux pas, and what advice can you give to all of our viewers?
The advice I would give everybody is to have a full-length mirror at home.
Look at yourself before you leave that house, people. Okay, sorry. All
I
right.
think that's the most important accessory anybody needs. And you'd be surprised how many people don't have full-length mirrors.
I need to get one. I'm 6, you know, I'm pretty tall, so.
Yeah, they can get tall ones. You can get mirrors in all sizes. But it helps to see the head to toe, the whole look. A lot of it is just about proportion and scale and what works for your body and what works.
What colors do you see coming in for spring 2006?
Lots of white, lots of beige, lots of calm colors, and black again.
So how are you doing this evening?
Great, how are you?
Good. You look absolutely stunning here at Fashion Week in New York.
Thank you.
I was across the hall. I was like, damn, who's that girl?
I love fashion. This has been such a fun week. I'm losing my voice. I'm exhausted, but it's been really fantastic. We had a great time.
What are the fashion do's and the fashion don'ts?
It's so funny you said that because I just hosted E's 50 biggest fashion do's and don'ts. Don'ts is panty lines. Don'ts is mullets. Do's are classic, sexy but not showing too much.
What's the biggest fashion faux pas that you see when you walk around the cities?
In the city? Well, I think, you know what, in the city you sort of have to dress carefully because you're out and about, there's a lot of people crossing, so you can't really show it all. Your skirt should be sort of like a nice length and maybe not high heels in the street.
All right, so I want to know what you can tell all of our audience out there in the camera, what to wear and what not to wear, your fashion take on what's going on.
Oh my Lord. Okay.
Are you getting nervous?
I am getting a little nervous with that question, but the only way I can go by what to wear and what not to wear, honestly, is I pass by my twin sister who's a fashion designer, and if she gives me the thumbs up, then I'm good to go. I would say for all women, no matter what's in style, if it's not gonna make you feel good, I feel like you can't wear it. I think right now we're very lucky because I think we have so many different kinds of cuts in all of the clothes right now that I think there's really something for every woman to feel amazing about what she puts on.
What's the biggest fashion faux pas? When you're walking on the street, you're walking, donk, 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 right? That's how you walk, like this.
Oh,
and you're like, oh my God, what the hell is that?
Okay, the biggest fashion faux pas, and now that the New York Times has actually given it a name, I was horrified, would be the muffin tops, which would be
The muffin tops?
the muffin tops, which would be the roll of flab from your low-waisted jeans.
Do we have anything here? Come,
No,
come.
because I made sure that wasn't gonna happen today.
So Miss Director here, Miss Director here doesn't have a muffin top. So you guys don't have to worry about that.
I don't have the muffin top, but that was under careful consideration. But I think that's the biggest faux pas you could
I wonder if
ever
I have. No, I don't think I have.
No, you're pretty good.
Thank you. All right, so then hold on. No muffin tops.
No muffin tops.
And you consult with your sister, your twin sister,
I do.
about what you should wear and what you should not wear.
I consult with my twin sister because she's got a much more, she's got a very ahead view of fashion. She definitely knows what's going to be the next thing to come. So I feel like if I can put something on and she's really into it, then I know I've done all right.
Linda and John, this Fashion for Relief, I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing for the community in New Orleans. Can you tell our viewers a little bit more about it, how they can contribute, what they can do? Is there a website link?
Well, Fashion for Relief was actually inspired and created by Naomi Campbell. And the entire fashion industry, along with MAC Cosmetics, have rallied to the cause to be there to help Naomi put on this fundraising event, which will be ending 7th on 6th on Friday night. And tickets are for sale on Ticketron. And all the major designers will have creations, and celebrities and models will be walking in the show. And the general public will get a chance to get a slice of New York Fashion Week, at the same time be able to raise needed money for all those affected by Hurricane Katrina in the Gulf region.
Linda, how does it feel to be the spokesperson for such a great cause, and people that are buying the product, they're coming, and it's your face, and it's helping all these people?
I know. Well, yeah, not only is it my image, I give my time and I speak about it. So we get to educate, we talk about the stigma attached, we talk about safe sex, and the fact that 100% of the money from each lipstick goes directly to someone living with or affected by HIV/AIDS is already amazing. And it's just one lipstick, but we've sold over $50 million to date.
How long is that in effect for? Is that the lipstick you sell for the rest of, for how long?
As long as it's needed to be there. There are actually 5 Viva Glam lipsticks and 1 Viva Glam lip glass. And since Linda's been associated with us, we've been raising $1 million a month.
So you guys have to go out there and buy all the lipstick, that you need, and even buy some for your friends and your uncles and your mothers, your grandmother. If your uncle wears lipstick, that's cool too, but whatever. Right?
Yeah, and it's amazing what just, $14 can do. It can
Absolutely.
feed, clothe, house, medicate, diaper a child in Africa for 1 month.
Is it okay if I ask you some questions about fashion? Okay. When you walk outside and you're walking around the different cities, what's the biggest fashion faux pas? You've been in the industry for so long, modeling, and you've changed your look. Yeah, oh my gosh, I can't believe this person is wearing what they're wearing.
Well, you should have seen me as a teenager, what I used to wear. Whoa, so I have no right. I don't think there are fashion faux pas. I think along with makeup, and hair, fashion is a way of expressing yourself.
Give me your take on fashion. All right, when you're walking down the streets, what's a fashion faux pas? You look at somebody like, damn, I can't believe they dress like that.
Something that looked comfortable, but at the same time outstanding. I just realized that my violin, when I carry it on the red carpet, it's becoming almost like an item when it comes to fashion. I made it an item, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And
It's part of your personality.
Of course, and especially when it comes to hip hop violin, which is like classical, putting it together with edge, and street style. And for what I do, it's very important for me to feel comfortable comfortable, especially when it comes to the arms, you know, fingers. It's whatever accentuating the playing and the execution of live music.
Naomi, I think what you're doing is absolutely awesome for the community. Can you tell our viewers more details about what they can do to help? And
It's basically what fashion is doing. It's everyone.
Fashion for Relief is an amazing cause. Where can our viewers go to contribute and help out in New Orleans?
You can go to Ticketmaster.com, buy a ticket and come and watch the fun. You can go to Polo.com and get the Fashion for Relief t-shirts, which are also being Polo, Ralph Lauren stores. You can go on Yahoo.com, also for the auction of the clothes that we will be wearing will be auctioned off on Yahoo.com. And you can go to AmericaCares.com, which is a non-profit organization.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a couple more questions? Okay. When you step out of your house, do you live in London or New York?
I live in New York.
Okay. When you walk around New York City, or you visit South Beach or LA or wherever you might go, what's the biggest fashion faux pas that you see people making when they dress?
Oh God, I haven't. I don't know. I could be making faux pas myself. For all I know, I don't know.
Okay. What are fashion do's?
Fashion do's,
Right.
do's and don'ts. Oh, I mean, I really don't know. I could dress 30s today. I could dress 70s tomorrow. I could dress present day the day after that. I just dress how I feel comfortable.
So as long as people dress the way they want to feel comfortable, then they're doing fine in your book.
Yeah.
Patrick, what do you see here in all the shows? I've seen you on all the shows, front row, and from all the collections, which ones are the best ones, or which ones inspire the most?
The most inspiring this season so far is Zoldy. I love Zoldy. I think he's amazing. My favorite show. I think he's come a long ways. I think he's going to be here to stay, and he's brilliant. Gary Graham, I love for men. Ducky Brown is always, you know, they're edgy and they're not conservative, which I'm not conservative, so I love it.
And neither am I. I'm wearing a
Not
spandex
you,
blue shirt.
exactly. And Ruffian was great. I saw that yesterday. And I saw the Blondes. They were fun. And Keenan Duffy is my favorite. He's my rock and roll god. He always has a rock and roll collection that's rockin'. And I can't wait to see the rest of the shows this week. Heatherette, Be Rude, Cynthia Steffi. We're here today to see her. And I'm looking forward to everything.
When you're walking around the streets of New York and other cities that you've been to, what's the biggest fashion faux pas mistake? And you're like, oh my, I can't believe those people walked out of their homes and didn't look at themselves first.
Fanny packs and flip-flops on the street of New York is a faux pas.
And what's a fashion do?
A fashion do is a fashion do. A fashion do is well put together and well coiffed. Well groomed is a must. Doesn't matter if you have simple clothes on, but if you're well groomed, it's beautiful.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.
Paulie, what inspired the look for, you know, the makeup? What's hot, what's not, and what should people do after seeing these shows here at Fashion Week?
Inspiration for this show in particular, it varies from designer to designer. My inspiration was young actresses, people like Sienna Miller, Kate Winslet, Rachel Weisz. You know, they're all very, very beautiful, but naturally beautiful. It's, you know, even if you see them on the pages of the magazines, they've got something about them that is just there. So with them, it was the eyebrows. They've all got strong eyebrows. It gives strength in the eyes, and what we've done is with the blonde girls as well, darken their eyebrows, not with a pencil but with mascara. Lots of mascara on the lashes, a very, very fine line on the top of the lashes, just to give the appearance that you've got more than you actually have. Bottom lashes, we've dotted in between the lashes just to give the appearance again of more lashes, pale pink cheek and a pink lip. So they just look very pretty, very natural, very gorgeous, very young Hollywood.
So for the forecast of spring, summer 2006, what are the colors that all the young women and possibly some guys, if they want to wear some makeup too, you know, we find that around in New York. What's the forecast for the colors they should be wearing?
Well, I always get it wrong, so don't trust my judgment, but just a cheek color that would enhance your natural skin tone. So depending on, I have a lot of pink in my skin, so I'd put a tiny bit of pink on my cheeks, and just gives you a healthy glow. So look at yourself, think, okay, well that's gonna make me look healthier than I actually look when I get up in the morning. Whack it on and Bob's your uncle and off you go.
All right, and what's the biggest makeup mistake when you're walking around the streets and you see someone, you're like, oh my, that makeup is just horrendous. They should have looked at themselves in the mirror before they walked out that door, and they look horrible. What do you do?
People probably do look at themselves in the mirror. It's just in the bathroom mirror where the lights are really dark. Is the orange foundation. Too much foundation for me is a no-no. Go into a shop, try the colors on your skin, go outside, have a look. If it's 4 shades darker than your natural skin tone, get it off and get another one on. And too much powder as well.
So you heard it right from here, backstage at the New York Fashion Week, spring, summer 2006, from Polly, the key makeup artist. And she says, too much foundation, change the lighting. You know what you have to do. Look at yourself before you leave that house and figure out what you have to do to change it and make it better. Right?
Right.
Regina, how are you doing tonight?
I'm wonderful. And you?
I'm very good. I'm here at the red carpet with Iceman, premiering his collection, Bling Bling. He's hooking everyone up. That's what he said.
Yes.
So you got to go in there and ask him for some red gold. That's what he said.
Well, now I have a little, I'm representing with a little bit of the red gold here. That's the beautiful thing about Chris. He has everything from the huge, chunky bling bling to the nice, dainty, beautiful things that little women like me can wear.
What's your take when you walk out in New York and you're walking around and you see people wearing different types of clothes? What would your advice be to our viewers on how to dress and how not to dress? Really quick.
Well, I would say, even though it's all about the fashion magazines and all of that, I would say, be yourself, feel yourself. If you want to rock leg warmers and high heels, you do it. If you want to rock a sweatshirt and stilettos, do it.
Renee.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, Rocco. How are you? It's been a while, but it's nice to see you here backstage at the Joanna Mastroianni show. So tell me a little bit about, or show us, why don't you show me around, show me some clothes that you're styling on these girls.
Well, the collection is kind of Mediterranean, Greek, Moroccan, lots of whites, lots of blues, greens, just like the ocean. She was very inspired by just the colors and the ocean and the sky and just the really crisp colors that you get from there. There's this great beaded skirt, this fringe long skirt. It all opens up. It's very, very sexy. So, and all this is hand beaded. It's great detail work. Bunch of metal beads, crystals. This is a goddess dress that we call it.
It looks like it just came out of Greece, wasn't it Greek?
It did, of course. That's what the whole inspiration was. It drapes from the bottom, from the side, all the way to the top shoulder. So and it's all hand beaded. It takes hours and hours worth of work.
Did you sit there and beat them all?
No, not me.
Would you?
So no, I don't have the time or the patience. A big thing for Joanna this season was the blouse. Do these huge sleeves. It's all about effortless glamour, that I like to call it. A woman just wants to throw something on, not really care about it, but she looks put together, and she's done, and she looks great, and it doesn't look like she tried too hard.
Rich.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
I'm ready for Fashion Week, baby. I'm totally about it.
That's why we're here.
Hell yeah, that's why I'm checking it out and kicking it off here at Crowbar.
I want to know, to all of our fashion viewers out there, straight from your mouth. You know what I'm From those lips. Zoom in on those lips right there. Just those lips. What for me? Can I give a kiss right
And
here?
your viewers.
Right here. Thank you. All right. Okay. Oliver's, what do they not wear? The fashion do not.
I personally, this season, I wouldn't wear much black. I think black is amazing. I mean, you look great in it.
Thank you.
Starting, I think this week, just showing off a lot of prints is good. And black is always great, but I would say kind of stay away from it for this week just because it's a celebration, baby. It's get a little colorful. Hello. Meanwhile, everybody here is wearing black. Hello. That's why I said it. Well, I think people should wear lots of color, lots of fun stuff. And wear a good spirit, that's for sure. And get your party hat on, baby. And accessorize, that's good. And they say not to show a lot of skin this season, but I totally don't agree. I would show more skin than ever. That's hot.
So if I came out all naked, that would be good?
It'd be hot. I mean, I think us at Heatherette, we never follow the rules. So it's if they say no, we say go, okay?
Is there anything else you would like to add in
Just have fun. Fashion Week, and New York City is the center of the universe, and I think it's the center of fashion as well.
What about your collection this week?
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be nuts. We're gonna close Fashion Week, and then after us, it's Gwen Stefani's show. So it's kind of like a whole pop culture, pop star night. So I think it's gonna be great.
Do you want to give us a little preview, like some secrets or something?
There'll definitely be secrets, but I can't give them away because the FBI, I'm tied to the CIA, so.
Richie Rich, what are you holding in your hand?
It's owed to my friend. My friend Angela collects chickens, but all my friends, Travis said it's a cock, so I thought, why not? It makes no sense. That's why I have it. Hello.
Does that chicken lay eggs?
It's about to tonight, trust me.
I was wondering, what are the fashion faux pas? When you see people walking down the street, what would you like to tell them? What are the do's and what are the don'ts about fashion?
I mean, the don't is always don't try and emulate other people, and don't follow the leader. The do is always be expressive, be experimental. Clothing can be taken off, so it's not permanent. It's an expression of what you're feeling or thinking at that moment. A tattoo has permanence, but, fashion doesn't.
You know what, Robert? That sounds good.
Hey, anytime for you. Anytime.
Thank you. Scott, you're here at the shows, you're checking out different designers, different lines. What is your take on fashion?
I think it's, one of the most cutting edge of all the art forms right now. It's especially over the last 15 years. You see a lot of art forms in pop culture, music, for instance, really getting stuck in the mud. A lot of that has to do with there being only 3 major labels right now. Major labels getting swallowed up by other major labels. So therefore, the artistic process and the art tends to get stuck. And so I've noticed that in fashion, there just seems to be boundaries that are getting broken all the time, and a lot of risks being taken, and it just is very exciting. And especially with rock and roll, fashion has always been a part of it. It has always influenced music, and music has always influenced fashion. And to me as a young kid, it was one of the things that seemed to be synonymous with it. I mean, it was almost for at a time 50% of it. I mean, I looked at my musical icons, and it was their style that got me excited about the music. And I've never had a musical icon that didn't have some sort of style that was in a sense outlandish. Fashion speaks to people. It's one of those things like music that have a universal language, and I don't know. It's just I find it an exciting thing.
You know what? Your music is absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to hearing more music you guys make. And I have to say that you're the best band out there.
All right, great.
You look extremely stylish, Stacy. What is the biggest fashion faux pas that you see when you're walking around the streets of New York?
People, let me think.
People that make you go, is that what it is?
People, you look at them, you're like, whoa. I mean, anything goes in New York, though. But, I'm a big accessory person, so when I see a person just like bare, I'm like, no, come on, get with it, accessorize. That's a faux pas.
And what would be your fashion advice to all those viewers out there that want to get your fashion sense?
My fashion sense, put it this way, you keep it edgy, keep it funky, don't let your shirt fall down, keep it funky, keep it edgy.
What if my shirt falls down? I guess it's all bun.
Sexy. Always make sure the men have their shirts on. But outside of that, keep it on the edge. Look at the trends, study the trends. You don't want to have like something back in the day like a grandmother or something. Make sure you're on the edge. So that's my advice. Read the magazines.
So check out those magazines and read it, and take Stacey's advice and you'll be okay, right?
Check it out or you're fired. How about that? And also, like I said, I'm a big accessory person. Believe it or not, if you can't afford it, like getting like diamonds, I'm a huge diamonds fan, and like really shiny type of jewels. But if you can't afford it, Claire stores, they're huge. I mean, it's knockoffs of everything. Go to Claire stores.
Hi, my name is Willie Ninja, Willi, no E. Ninja. Ninja. Not a with a G, not ninga. Ninja.
I'm gonna have to smack someone if they say ninga.
Oh, honey.
Like, bitch, pop! So when you walk out the front door, I mean, you look good, all right? So you walk out the front door, and you see people dressed different ways, and you're like, oh man, I can't believe that person came out the front door and didn't look at themselves in the front mirror.
Well, look at me. The way I come out the front door, it's like to each his own. Fashion is whatever you want to make it. It shouldn't be dictated because today, I put white pants on and said it's after Labor Day, you shouldn't wear white pants. I am so sick of hearing that crap. That's bull. Because honey, you on the ski slopes, you see what? White Parkers, white ski pants, white boots. So white can be worn. So whoever dictated that needs to be slapped because you can wear white. You might blend in with the snow, but.
So you came here, you saw the shows. What's your take on the girls? You've trained a lot of girls in the last 28 years to walk. And what's your take? Are they listening to the master?
A lot of them do, and then some of them don't. They try to do it their own way. And 28 years experience. I don't teach them trends. I teach them everything so that they can survive past a year or two. There's a reason that I do that. And then, because there's certain walks that come in that are trendy and then it goes out. And then if the girls are stuck into the trends, they lose out the following seasons. And then they have to be retrained.
Now, what about male models? Do you train male models?
I do. Yes, despite me wearing heels, I train male models as well.
One time I used to model.
Right.
I was in Milan. I went to a casting for Vivienne Westwood, and she had us walking hills. Okay, so I want to ask you to hold the mic, and I'm going to walk a little bit for you, and you can tell me how I walk. How's that look? And you can put me in my place. You can teach me on camera. How's that sound? Really quick. Okay, hold the mic. Hold the mic.
Okay.
Keep rolling.
Watching. That's more like a girl's pose.
That would be more like a girl's pose, where a men's pose would be.
Oh, not too far apart, but straight leg. And also, you use one arm more than the other.
Can you show me?
Oh, you were using the left arm.
Right.
Right. And as movement, you need to use both your arms equally.
Okay.
So as you're going down and it's a casual walk,
you see?
The simpler the better for men.
Okay, so should I try that again?
Uh-huh. Much better, but you forgot one thing. Never look away from the audience until the last second. When you move away, then you turn your head away.
Well, thank you very much for your one-on-one special class. And if any of the designers ever ask me to come, I'll say, I have to have you by my side before I do any shows. Because I was backstage interviewing some designers, and one of them said, oh my God, Rocco, you have to be in my next show. And I was like, all right. Yeah, and I'll make sure you come.
You make sure that you use both arms equally because that evens out the walk.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Tell me your fashion take when you're walking out the street and you see people dressed different ways. What's the fashion do's and the fashion don'ts for our viewers?
I mean, well, the fashion do's, definitely try to match up. You know what I mean? And I speak from experience because sometimes I don't match. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes all of the colors don't need to be similar to look good. You know what I mean? You could throw the colors off sometimes. And sometimes I do hate when I see somebody and they all in the same color.
So don't go out that house all in the same color. You heard it right from here.
One billboard, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mix it up, Caribbean style.
Man, you make the bling bling. You hook up all the stars.
Yeah, Ice is an affectionate name for diamonds on the street, and because I'm a diamond dealer or a diamond. I work with diamonds a lot. My clients just call me Iceman, and that's where that name came from. It was actually Cedric the Entertainer who coronated me. I always say that.
What are we looking to see now in your collection and for your show?
Oh, wow. We got a lot of, the collection consists entirely of red gold and platinum and diamonds. And there's a lot of color diamonds, color stones, and different things.
Can you elaborate a little bit more about the red gold? That's kind of like your trademark, right?
Yeah,
People think Iceman are like, oh, red gold, red gold.
No, red gold was something that I developed and trademarked, and is actually right now one of the fastest selling metals, and it's what a lot of people actually purchasing because it looks amazing on every skin tone.
Well, I heard that Anna Nicole Smith said that she would love to wear something that was made by you when I talked to her before.
Goodness, wow, that's an honor. Yeah, anytime. Tell her anytime.
Okay, I'll make sure. Now, what different, are there any things coming out, any publications that people could read up about you, any articles coming out in different magazines or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been blessed. Just last month, I think JCK Couture had me on the cover of the magazine. We have, I mean, a bunch of different people. I don't know. I can't tell you verbatim, but
Flow magazine.
Flow, yeah.
Esteban, what inspired you to design your collection for this season, 2006 spring here in New York?
You know, it's very simple. It's just extremely slick, extremely chic lines, very condensed, very focused collection in the color palette. I just did a lot of white and silver to represent purity. And then we go into the deep end of the ocean, where we get inspired by just like beauty of like the fantasy of a mermaid or mother of pearl, or just like the deep colors of blue and plums and grapes and purples that we may find in there, and all those different elements of the water. And then we finish with beautiful coppers and sand colors and golds that represent when we arrive to shore. So it's just kind of like this pure essence that just kind of goes through this washing out of the ocean.
For all of our viewers out there, what are the do's and the don'ts? Well, first, what are the don'ts? When you're walking around the streets of Miami and New York and you see people dressed different ways, what are the fashion faux pas? And you're like, oh my God, ay Dios mío, I can't believe they're wearing that.
You know what, with those things, I'm very much like, you know, even though I love fashion and I love trends and I love to be on top of it, I think the biggest don't is not to feel comfortable with what you're wearing. It's like all about feeling comfortable. If you feel comfortable with what you're wearing and you like what you're wearing, then you're not doing it for anybody else but yourself. Then that's the biggest do. That's the biggest, like, you know, like, amazing to be able to just love what you're wearing and get into it and feel comfortable. But if you're not feeling that, then that's a don't. I don't pay attention too much to the faux pas or whatever, because they're always changing, and all of a sudden a faux pas becomes something that you do. So I don't pay attention to that, really.
When are we going to see your men's line come out? Because the last time we interviewed, I was like, I can't wait to be the Esteban man.
You know, I really would love to do men's, but right now I'm just doing women and focusing on women, getting it out there. And then as soon as I'm ready, I would love to do men.
Cynthia, what inspired your collection this season here at Fashion Week?
I guess if I had to point the beginning of where the collection began, it was really, I would give credit to a print that I saw that was very oversized and bold and graphic in its origin. And it reminded me of a modernist, like a Mondrian painting. And it was also very architectural. It reminded me of Le Corbusier, the work that he did in the 60s where he worked with black and white with bits of color in his architecture. So the collection began with a black and white base with the clean color working off of that. So it's really a modernist-inspired collection. It's very clean, very sleek, very streamlined. That dressed up, luxurious feeling that we started seeing from fall is continuing, but I think in a much more sleek and polished way. And when I say very linear, you will actually see prints that have been cut into strips and applied to a black ground netting. So it's very soft and feminine, but you still get that linear thing happening. And there's also that same fabrication is in a solid black, but you know, I've crossed it so that it sort of recalls a city shape or things that are very, very architectural. I think as a designer and as a house, Cynthia Steffi is known for its novelty and attention to detail, and its femininity, and that's all still here, but it's more of a three-dimensional interest, and one where the clothing takes on kind of a sculptural aspect. The skirts, some of them are narrow and streamlined, some of them have just a softness, sort of a rolled hem, and the coats are tiered in a way, so it's very architecturally inspired.
And where do you see yourself going with the next collection?
Who knows? I'm just starting to look at fabrics and things for next fall, and it's too early in the game to really tell where we'll go with that. But it's always that one little thing, and building a collection and working on a collection for months, there's always like that seed that begins, oh, this looks new to me. And as a designer, I'm always looking and aspiring to what looks new, what looks fresh. And this season it was very clean, it was very sculptural, and I hope I've interpreted it to where it's still very signature, in keeping with what it is that we do. But I think it's a new, fresh look for me.
As you're walking down the streets of New York and different cities you've been in, what's the biggest fashion faux pas? When you see someone, they walk in, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're dressed like that. I can't believe they walk out of the house and they didn't look at themselves in the mirror. What fashion do's and don'ts would you give all of our viewers right there?
You know what? I would just love people to take a little more respect in how they put themselves together in the morning. Sloppy isn't good looking, and you know it's great to be casual and it's wonderful to be relaxed, but I love the polished and the more dressed feeling and mood that's happening with the clothes last season and this one.
And what's the biggest fashion faux pas that you see people dressed all over it? Like the biggest mistake people make?
I would say it's probably putting on those running sneakers when you're dressed for work,
Right.
going to the office. I would say that's probably the number one.
What popped into your mind when you were sitting there drafting out your sketches for what you were going to design, the fabrics, the colors?
I was inspired by a lot of the fabrics and the prints that I designed and developed, and I was working a lot with ribbons and how to use ribbons and ribbon embroidery and flowers. I was inspired by my color cosmetic line that I just launched in Japan last week, which has been a phenomenon, which I'm very flattered by. And a lot of the colors and the embellishments I worked with this season. And you know, a lot of things inspire me. Movies, I was watching Butterfield 8, Elizabeth Taylor. It inspired me for all the sexy pencil dresses.
You know, as I was walking through backstage looking for you, I actually thought you were maybe one of the models, and I couldn't figure out who was who because you're so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, I have a couple more questions. One question is, what's the biggest fashion faux pas when you're walking down the streets of New York or any other cities you've been to, and you see someone walk out and you said, oh my, they should have looked at themselves in the mirror before they walked out that door?
I would keep it simple and to your own sensibility, and mix things, you know, so they look eclectic but not overdone and not overstyled, and you know, keep to your own sensibility.
Joanna, what inspired you to make this collection this season?
It was mostly inspired by the Mediterranean, the sun and the sea. So there's a tremendous amount of whites and lots of white textures. There's some prints that really take all those colors into consideration.
And for your next collection, what do you have in mind? What are we going to see?
We're thinking about fall 2006 already. Wow. Well, you know, you're going to see some serious drama for fall 2006. One of the things that I'm doing at the moment actually is just putting this to bed. I'm giving myself 2 days off, and then after that I'll start to think about fall.
Are you going to go back to Greece?
I really would like to. I'd like to go back to the little islands, to the simplicity of, again, nature and the sun and the sea.
John, what inspired you to design such an amazing, beautiful collection?
Good question. A lot of it came from the 80s, very inspired by when I moved to New York. But really, it's the textiles, the Italian textiles. When I saw those, they really dictated what the style and the look would be.
And the hat? The hat.
The hats came from old safari photographs that I had, but I reworked them with this designer, Rod Keenan, and made them a little bit more modern and a little cooler, I hope.
When you're traveling around and you're walking around the streets of different cities in the States, what are the fashion faux pas that you see that men, when they leave their front door, and you say, oh my, I can't believe they're dressed like that? What advice would you give?
I don't know. I think that guys have their own style, and I don't really have any problem with what guys wear at all. But, you know, I just think that they should step out a little bit. Just take a few more chances.
And what do you see for your next collection?
Well, I'm going to be starting on fall. I don't know. I see it very dark, a lot of black, actually. Again, very sort of 80s inspired.
Who inspires you?
Everybody from my dog, my family, different actors, artists, so many different people, really.
Jerry, what inspired you for your collection this season?
Well, this season was really, we were calling it really coast to coast, but it was more about New York or the Hamptons, New York, Miami is really East Coast to East Coast. And it was really about city meets beach and keeping a very nice mix of things. And after the summer we had here in New York this last year, it was really kind of easier to kind of integrate. We wanted to really play like very soft color, very lightweight fabrics, and have a nice ease and very relaxed feel to it.
When you're walking around the streets of New York and other cities that you've traveled to, what are the fashion faux pas that men, they dress and you're like, oh man, I can't believe they're dressed like that? What advice can you give our viewers about what to do and what not to do, and the worst thing that you see when people are dressed walking around the streets?
Well, I think, God, that's a bit of a tough question because it's, you see so many different things. I think it's men before they walk out the door should really just take a quick look in the mirror, and if you raise your eyebrow, you're like kind of like, what am I doing? You shouldn't walk out. Women sit in front of a mirror to look perfect in most cases, but men will just kind of like walk out and whatever. But I think it's very important that a guy just make sure his clothes fit, make sure that his attire looks proper for what he's doing. I think what's important is that we have so many different everybody's jobs and what they do and what their lifestyles mean integrate so many different looks, but tucking your shirt in is a little bit more proper. Maybe if you're going to a business venture or not, then having things out and a little more sloppier. But depending on really what you're doing, I think is something that and looking at what you're doing and where you're going and how you're doing things is really how a man should really look at himself.
Thank you very much, Jerry, and your collection is beautiful. What inspired you to design the collection you did this season?
Well, this season, I think that I was, primarily I'm inspired by, the morose, climate in the world today, with all the headlines, it's just like a really somber time in our life. So the aesthetic this season has, like a lot of somber elements to it, like a lot of shades of gray, hints of black, like bottle green and so forth.
For all of our viewers out there, give them your fashion expertise. What is the fashion faux pas that you see all the time when men dress and go out? And how should they fix it?
Well, I think that they try too hard, so don't, layer a bunch of clothes on, just, buy interesting pieces that don't, scream out, fashion, and, you just have to keep it simple. Like a nice shirt, like a great, pair of pants, a hat, like a pair of boots, and that's it.